Hi everyone, and welcome back to NessMacrameStudio. Today I'll show you how to make this beautiful macrame clutch. It's surprisingly simple to create, yet elegant enough to become your favorite summer accessory. So, let's get started. For this project you'll need 20 cotton cords, each 4 millimeters, 5/32 of an inch, thick and 4.5 meters, approximately 15 feet long. I've calculated the cord length with a small safety margin, but this project is surprisingly cord hungry, so don't try to save material. You'll be glad you have a little extra. Pin all the cords onto your working surface. I like using a pillow because it keeps everything secure and easy to adjust. Try to position the cords as close together as possible before you begin. The body of the clutch starts with 33 rows of square knots. I'll speed this part up, but there are a few important things to remember. Keep your knot tension as even as possible throughout the project. Every few rows, reposition your pins to support the growing fabric. It makes knotting much easier and helps maintain clean edges. Another important tip is to alternate the direction of each row. One row from left to right, the next from right to left. This simple habit prevents the fabric from twisting and keeps your work beautifully straight. Also, don't rush. Smooth your cords before every knot and check your alignment every few rows. Small corrections along the way save a lot of work later. After 33 rows, it's time for the decorative flap. Leave an opening exactly in the center, where our main ornament will be placed. The next 5 rows are worked separately on each side, creating space for the centerpiece. The central design is actually quite simple. It consists of 2 rows of double half hitch knots and 1 large decorative knot. This decorative knot is the focal point of the entire clutch, so take your time here. Watch my hand movements carefully, and don't be afraid to pause the video if needed. And here's something I always remind myself. I'm never upset if I have to untie a knot. Redoing a knot isn't a mistake. It's simply choosing quality over speed. That's often the difference between a handmade piece that looks homemade and one that looks professionally crafted. Once the centerpiece is finished, we'll frame it with 2 diagonal rows of square knots on each side. This is probably the trickiest section of the project. The biggest challenge isn't making the knots, it's keeping track of which cords belong to each row. Take your time and constantly compare both sides to keep everything perfectly symmetrical. These diagonal rows create the flap of the clutch, which naturally becomes the most visible part of the finished piece. We'll finish the knotting with one final row of double half hitch knots. The macrame itself is now complete, but we're not done decorating just yet. Now let's create the tassels. Tie each bundle with a short piece of cord. These little ties don't just hold the tassels together. They also make them look much fuller because their loose ends become part of the fringe. In the center, I tied the tassels in pairs and trimmed them slightly shorter. Moving toward the sides, I continued working in pairs, and for the outermost tassels, I grouped 3 cords together to make the corners look fuller and more balanced. Now let's see what we've created. At this stage, it's simply one long macrame panel. Fold it into the clutch shape and sew the 2 sides together. It's a very simple step, so I decided not to include it in this video. Later, I'd love to add a white fabric lining and install a zipper. I think those details will make the clutch even more practical while keeping its handmade character. And that's it! Our macrame clutch is finished. I hope you enjoyed creating it with me. If you liked this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to NessMacrameStudio, and let me know in the comments what you'd like to make next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.